What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a Rift City Retro live stream. I'm, of course, Eric Brandt, and I actually have my partner Rich Finley here with me this evening. Rich, it is so good to see you. I'm happy you're able to come on because we have a lot to talk about with this Giannis thing heating up. Let me make sure I don't lose you here. I don't know why you keep going away, but
much like real life, right? I mean,
I'll,
this is pretty much
I'll try
what
not to make
happens
you
with
go
me.
away too much, um, but yeah. So the Giannis trade rumors are ramping up. We have a bunch of different rumors today. Um, Man, why do you keep?
Am I just like a disembodied voice at this point?
There you go. I think I got it now. I
Uh,
think I know what the problem was. So I think
it
we
might
got you
be
now.
it might be better for the audience if it was actually like that. But
Yeah. But no,
anyway,
you're
go ahead.
good.
I don't want to
But yeah,
step on you.
anyways, we got a ton of Giannis rumors, and it's looking like he's probably going to be, or not maybe probably, but Miami's definitely where he wants to be. But we'll get into that in a minute. But first, Rich, how have you been, man? Let everyone know how you're doing, and then everyone in chat, let us know how you're doing out there. It's good to see everyone in here. How was your weekend? How's everything going?
Well, Eric, first and foremost, thanks so much. It's really good to be here with you and everybody in the chat. I just want to say thank you so much for letting me guest host on your channel. Um, the the hostile takeover is nearly complete. Um, I'm just glad that my keys still work in the lock, that I can still like poke around here. No, all kidding aside, obviously since the end of the season, it's been hard for me to be able to do videos, with like some of my health concerns and things like that. So I just want to thank you for continuing to put out live streams and content for everybody. And I know that now that you're back from your Mexico location, I mean your vacation, not location, but your Mexico vacation. And did you take my advice, by the way, when I said make sure you greet everyone in Mexico and say it's great to be in Mexico? Did you take my advice and say that to everybody that you met?
No, I did not.
Okay, that's probably smart.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, yeah, was not planning on being a part of your live stream tonight, and then I mean, I don't know what kind of order you want to go in here, so I'm happy to just kind of tag along and letting everybody in the chat know I'm going to hang out for about an hour, and then I'm going to check out, and then Eric's going to be with you guys for the rest of the way. But um, I don't know what kind of order you want to go
Yeah.
in, but the thing that pulled me into tonight, while I really want to talk about the Giannis rumors and all that kind of stuff, and we will, but the thing that really made me want to come on to talk a bit was the passing of Rick Adelman today.
Yeah, sad news in Blazerland. Legend of Blazerland. Definitely hurts for our generation, I think. He was the coach of the great early 90s teams, and unfortunately for Rick Adelman, his legacy is always going to be that of the a coach who was really good but couldn't get his team over the top. Had two really good chances to get a franchise, a championship, and wasn't able to do so. I don't necessarily think he deserved that kind of label. I think he was a really good coach, obviously Hall of Famer, all that kind of stuff. He
Yeah,
was also he played for the Blazers as well, so
yeah, a lot of
that
people
should be
forget that.
mentioned as well. But yeah, the between the Blazers and then he was the coach of that Kings team that famously might have gotten jobbed out of a championship opportunity in a game 7. But yeah, so two very close chances he had to win a title. And then Daryl Morey said he had a message today saying that he was his first actual coach hire when he was with the
Oh
Rockets,
wow.
and they almost upset. I think it was at the Lakers that they took to Game 7 in
They went to a game
2009,
7, yeah.
where the Lakers end up going on to beat. Was that the year they beat the Magic? Um,
Yes.
so yeah, they almost beat the Lakers that year, and so yeah, another team. But the Kings team that he coached, that was the Mike Bibby, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Mitch Richmond. Um, yeah,
No, not
no,
Mitch
it's not
Richmond.
not Mitch
He
Richmond.
wasn't there.
I mean, he might have been there for one of the years, but
I don't think Adelman had him for any of the years. I think I
okay.
think he was gone by then.
Who was Doug Christie? Who was their shooting guard?
Asia.
Oh,
Asia.
Peja, yeah. That's right. But unfortunately for Rick, those are between the Blazers in the early 90s and those Kings teams. Those are two of the greatest teams to never win a title. Of course, there's several others. Throw the Jazz in there, the Sonics with Peyton and Kemp. There's a lot of teams throughout history that didn't win one, but those are two of the best teams, and unfortunately, he was the coach of both of them. So,
Yeah.
like I said, he kind of unfairly gets that label. But man, what a great coach, great guy, and
Great guy.
just
Yeah.
unfortunate that his time on this earth has passed.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about Rick today, and I can't ever remember. And I mean, we're in a different day and age now with social media and things like that, and how much access you get. But I can't ever remember anybody ever, like from a player standpoint or anything like that. I can't ever remember anybody really complaining about Rick Adelman.
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
either.
can you even remember any like coach player feuds that he ever had? I can't think of one. Like he worked really well with seemingly everybody. Um,
Yeah,
and he managed a lot of delicate situations, whether it was Duckworth with the Blazers, dealing with the situation of Chris Webber coming to the Kings and he didn't want to be there. Just lots of different personality types that Rick dealt with throughout his entire career. We should also say Ron Artest as well when he was with the Rockets. So, Rick just seemed to be one of those kind of guys that really understood the life of a player, which makes sense because he was a former player. But by all accounts, it just seems like he was a very fiery guy. Players loved playing for him, but he was always in control. It's not like he was, one of those guys stomping up and down the sidelines and getting technicals all the time and things like that. But yeah, it was just kind of, it's just one of those things as a sports fan, and as you yourself get older and you're you're dealing with your own mortality and things like that,
right.
and when you start to see like players pass away, and then we see Rick Adelman passing away today, it's just kind of like, oh man, like it really hits you. It really hits you. So, but yeah, that was the thing I was really thinking about today. I was like, I can't, I can't remember one bad player relationship Rick Adelman ever had. And I'm sure he had some. I mean, I'm sure that he had to bench guys and things like that, but never really heard a bad thing about him. Always loved seeing Rick, and always rooted really hard for Rick. Even like gone way too soon from the Blazers. Kind of a knee jerk reaction by Paul Allen to let him go in the summer of 1994. The Blazers had two first round playoff exits in a row after going to the finals in 92. So they lost in the first round in 93 to the San Antonio Spurs, lost in the first round in 1994 to the eventual champion Rockets. And that summer, after that postseason elimination, was when Paul Allen went and brought in Bob Whitsitt and then Whitsitt obviously, you know, I don't think it was Whitsitt's call to fire Rick, but getting a new coach, getting a new GM, like it was kind of turning over a new era for the Blazers. But I definitely thought that they turned the page on Rick way too soon. And wherever Rick was, whether it was with the Golden State Warriors, which was a short, surprisingly unsuccessful stint, or going down to Houston, or obviously, well, I mean, I'm going out of order a little bit, but when he was with the Kings, I mean, if we weren't going to win it, I was really rooting hard for Rick Adelman. So I agree with everything you said in terms of every time you see those lists of all-time great teams that never won, you'll always see those Blazers and those Kings. And the thing that they both had in common was Rick Adelman, but not. I never got the sense, and you tell me, I never got the sense that the either Blazer media or national media ever looked at, how we look at Doc Rivers, right? Even though Doc
Mm.
Rivers has one championship, but people look at Doc as like, oh no, Doc has a 3-1 lead. Like it's dangerous, right? I never got the sense that people looked at Rick as somebody who could not win at the highest level, couldn't win a championship. I think a lot of people just look at him like he came up against really great teams when his teams were really, really good.
Yeah, I do think after the Kings never got over the top, I do think nationally he kind of got that label as a coach that was really good, but wasn't the coach you wanted if you wanted to win a championship. And I still feel like that's unfair, but I do remember during that time hearing that, and that's one of the reasons why he eventually was let go in both places. Um, but yeah, it's a shame. Part of the reason why I think both of us were rooting for that Kings team was obviously their main
Their main rival,
rival was the Lakers. So we
right?
obviously didn't want the Lakers to keep winning titles. So that was
No,
part of it, I think. But
yeah, for sure.
but yeah, so I do remember. I mean, we're going on 20 plus years ago now, but I do remember him kind of getting that label as a guy who can get you to the top of the mountain, but can't quite get you over that last little hump that you need to finish it off. And like I said, I feel like that's completely unfair, especially if the refs were against it in one of those games. And the Blazers. Their first trip to the finals in '90 under Adelman. You go up against a really good Pistons team, so I don't necessarily think that's like a travesty that we lost to them. And
And
then,
that's rookie year as a coach, right? Like first full year
right,
on the
yeah,
job as a coach. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I forgot when he took over for Schuler, but
Wasn't it 89 because Schuler won coach of the year in 88?
yeah,
That's crazy too. Blazers had Mike Schuler, who was a disciplinarian, like the antithesis of Rick Adelman.
right,
He wins coach of the year in 1988. The Blazers lose in the first round of the playoffs. And then midway during the 88-89 season, the Blazers fire him. So they fire the reigning coach of the year mid-season, and then Adelman, who was
takes
an
over.
assistant,
Yeah,
yeah, took over the job. So just kind of crazy.
and I mean, nowadays it's pretty common if you're a coach of the year. It's never it's
Well,
almost
maybe
like
not
become a bad thing.
mid-season of the next. Maybe not
Right.
mid-season of the next season.
But there are a lot of coaches that have been fired within a year or two of winning that
oh
award
yeah,
recently.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. You're
that's
not
pretty
wrong.
crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so I really, yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily feel like it's his fault. I mean, the Blazers did come out flat in a couple of early games in both of those series against the Pistons and the Bulls and in the 91.
Particularly at home. Particularly
Yeah.
at home.
But we always go back to Cliff Robinson drop or the turnover on the fast break in '91.
Hmm.
But like that's not the coach's fault. A 4-on-1 break
Well,
you
and
can't convert.
and
You know, like
and we've got the ball with 12 seconds to go, down one. He draws up a perfect play, gets Terry Porter a wide open jump shot
yeah,
that he misses. Like, how is that? How is that on Rick?
yeah,
So
yeah, just tough. But man,
yeah.
great. He's been around, and obviously his son is now a coach in the
Hmm.
NBA. But man, he was a staple in this community for a long time and all that. So
Did you
shout
read
out to
his?
Rick
Did
Adelman.
you did you read his two books?
No, I never read his books. Did
Oh man! If you can find them, I loved both his books.
Oh yeah,
Uh, yeah, he did. He did. What was it? The long hot winter. I think it covers the 1990-91 season, and
yeah,
it's almost in diary format. It's like game by game by him. And then the next year he wrote "Make It Happen" about or maybe it was called "Make It Happen," or maybe it was. Maybe I'm confusing the '92 video of them going to the finals. But he wrote another book in '92. They're both excellent books. Maybe check those out. They're probably super cheap now, but Eric, not to grab the wheel or anything like that, but can we shift into talking a little bit about Giannis, since my time is kind of limited tonight?
yes.
Go for it.
Well, before that, I did want to talk about one thing really quick.
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw this news today, Rich, but it was reported that the Blazers and the Cleveland Cavaliers
Oh, I did
discussed
hear this.
a trade before the trade deadline that involved Drew Holiday going to the Cavs for Darius Garland. And obviously, the Giannis topic is going to dominate the rest of the show. So I just wanted to get this in here really quick.
What
Uh,
was that trade? What were the machinations of that trade if it would have happened? Do we
it
know?
seems like it was almost like a straight up Drew for Darius Garland.
What are your
Blazers.
thoughts on that, real quick?
Well, I had several thoughts right away. One is it's I like that Joe was willing to. I don't know what the right word is, but like capitalize on if he could get a player that fits with the core, um, and the core
Yeah, I
being
mean,
like Denny,
you're shaving.
Tamani, Klingon.
Yeah.
If he was willing to kind of be like, okay, this isn't necessarily what I'm aiming for, but the value here might be too good to pass up. Getting a
Hmm.
younger point guard who's been an all-star, maybe just needs a situation where he's not fighting time with Donovan Mitchell for lead guard or whatever. So I felt like that. I mean, ultimately it didn't get done. So once again, it's on the trades that didn't happen uh, tally on his scorecard. But in this situation, it sounds like the Cavs are the ones who didn't end up wanting to do it because they didn't feel like Drew Holiday was enough of an offensive engine, was the quote.
Hmm.
And but I do think it's cool that he was willing to maybe make that trade. Now, I see a lot of people saying this means that he's going to trade Drew Holiday this offseason and all that. I don't think he's going to just trade Drew Holiday for assets. I think this was a unique situation where he felt like he could upgrade in terms of the window and having a better, younger, not necessarily better right now, but like potentially a better longer term fit. Now, the weird part that comes into play here is that Darius Garland makes absolutely no sense on this roster the
No,
next couple of
not
years.
at not
So
at all.
so that's the really interesting part of this, in my opinion. At the trade deadline, does that mean they're completely out on Scoot moving forward and we're willing to go a completely different direction? How much did some of the good games Scoot had, including a couple in the playoffs, how much did that change their opinion moving forward into the off season, or is this still
Yeah.
something to where they're looking to upgrade it? And then, I mean, Dame and Darius Garland aren't a great fit. So short term, Darius Garland makes absolutely zero sense, Rich. But I do like that if you think about the trade and like we're not there yet, this trade could potentially make us better long term. It might be weird the next couple years in the short term, but we're thinking about it in terms of this will set us up better for success over the next 5 or 6 years versus 2 years, which keeping Drew, let's face it, re-signing Dame, those are all short term, couple years at most windows for this team to make a run. Whereas if you get Darius Garland, I feel like it fits in with the Denny's and the Tamanis and kind of adds another piece to that long term equation. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic of do you make the trade just because of that, or do you factor in all the fit issues and the fact that you have a bunch of guards already?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Not to get hung up on this for too long, but I had almost identical thoughts to yours with that. I was like, it it doesn't it doesn't really solve our immediate problems. So that should make it kind of infuriating, and yet I kind of like it. and then and then also like it kind of reads as like potential insurance policy for Scoot, or you could just completely. I mean, again, Garland. Big issue with Garland is his health and
Right.
him staying healthy. Um, but I mean, when he's right and he's feeling good, I really like DG a
Mm.
lot. So yeah, I think it's interesting that they kick the tires on that. Um, it also makes you wonder, like, what are they seeing from Dame, like around the practice facility every day, and what are their projections for next season, and potentially the next couple of seasons. So, yeah, it struck me as really interesting, and I also wondered just a little brief comment on the Cavs. The fact that the Cavs would back out of it because Drew Holiday doesn't offer a big enough offensive punch when that team with Mitchell kind of has a lot of offense already, and it's not like Harden lit the world on fire, especially in their playoff sweep against the Knicks. But um, I don't know. I think Cleveland might be kind of kicking themselves a little bit that they didn't do that one.
Yeah, I think Drew would have been a much better fit next to uh, Donovan Mitchell. I think
And
they
Drew has the ability to be an X factor and impact the game in other ways that are not just necessarily about his offense, in terms of his defense, his leadership, his ability to empower other players and things like that. I think Drew would have been a much better addition to the Cavs. I feel like it was a little short sighted that they didn't
mhm.
add him.
I
But
I did I did kind of like the Harden move, but it's
I
just
did too at the time.
the
But
way he played in the playoffs. I mean, they almost got as far as they did in spite of him, and
yeah,
he just, I mean, all the games he had more turnovers than made field goals, and just really, there was that game against the Knicks where they blew the game one lead in the
oh
fourth
yeah,
quarter, where they just hunted him like 9 possessions in a row,
yeah.
and Drew Holiday's not getting hunted 9 possessions in a row, or they're not
And they
gonna
and
have
they came
success
out
against him. But
and they bizarrely came out so quickly and gave the vote of confidence to Kenny Atkinson, and he's going to stay on as coach.
Yeah.
after some of his post game comments, Eric, I mean, we texted each other. We were like, he's gone. Like, he's gone. Like, there's no way he can stay on. And they very
Mm.
quickly were like, he will return next season. So that's pretty crazy.
But yeah,
A
let's get into
lot of
Giannis.
trade rumors today. So let me say this about the Giannis trade stuff, and then I'll let you go because you have more of the details than I do. I had said when exit interviews happened that I thought it was kind of a psyop that almost immediately it was put out. Blazers expected to be major contender for Giannis. I still stand by that because I think we were still in damage control from, as I told you, I've been calling Tom Dundon Orange Chicken Man bad. Like, just everybody, freaking out, all the fear mongering and stuff like that. So I felt like all the talk about, oh, the Blazers are going to go after Giannis was in assistance of that, like trying to help Dundon's profile be raised. Because obviously, if you're going to trade for Giannis, you're going to do so with a guarantee that he's going to sign a long term deal with you, unless you're gonna do the crazy thing like the Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors thing. But and I just felt kind of like, well, this is to make us sound relevant. Our names are in the mix. We're probably more of a facilitator in a Giannis trade than anything else. But then as the playoffs evolved, I felt like, and you can tell me what you think about this. We haven't had an opportunity to talk about it, but I felt like as some of the success of some of the teams occurred over the playoffs, like the Knicks, obviously, um, some of Giannis's options went away or diminished a little bit, and now I have felt like this most recent round of Giannis rumors are actually legitimately, like, now I'm paying attention to these as legitimate rumors. But how did you look at that?
So my feelings all along have been I believe the Blazers' interest is legitimate. I
Oh,
I
them for sure.
I
Absolutely.
I do think the Blazers would trade for him. I think I don't know if they give up as much. I mean, they're giving up the Bucks picks at the very least, either way in any trade scenario. But I don't know if they give up as much if Giannis isn't willing to sign an extension. But I don't think that necessarily eliminates them from the conversation. And I only say that because I still believe that Tom Dundon is a swing big guy and wants to make a splash on the court to show everyone that I mean, he doesn't care what people think, but all along he's been trying to tell us that he cares about the on-court product and wants to win, and this other stuff doesn't matter in terms of that. And whether you believe that or not, I do feel like he wants to make a splash of this caliber if they can pull it off. So I do think they would still consider it even without the extension. But
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
uh,
sorry.
I was going to say, to me, this has always come down to one thing, and that is, will the Milwaukee Bucks do what Joe Cronin and the Portland Trailblazers refuse to do? And that's give your superstar to a team he wants to go to, the team he wants to go to, when it might
Oh,
not be as good of a package. But do you owe that to Giannis Antetokounmpo, or are you going to make the best trade for the Bucks moving forward? And I think the Blazers' level of involvement
wow.
comes down to that fact. If they want to do right by Giannis and get him to Miami, then we have no chance here. If they want to do what's best for the Bucks post Giannis, I feel like we're the front runners, and that's crazy to say.
And how ironic would that be when it's the exact same calculus
Right?
that the Blazers made with Dame, including the exact same place he wanted to go? I mean, look, there's a lot of people that want to go to South Beach. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but wow, what a crazy thing that would be. That's a great take. That's really interesting.
And yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's already heating up today because so just to catch everyone up who maybe didn't see it today, but so Mark Stein reported that the Blazers and the Heat are the front runner.
I
Almost
heard that.
almost everyone else says Portland has the best offer or one of the best offers, but Giannis, like Miami's still the front runner, and that's because their
Because it's Miami.
their package is okay, I guess. They do have more picks available. Now, this was always a bone of contention back in 2023. Miami could have easily freed up more picks to offer for Dame if they wanted to.
Hmm.
But so now it's a question of I, I don't think their pick package is anywhere in the vicinity of getting three of your own picks back and then getting possibly multiple other unprotected picks, which match the picks that you're getting from Miami, plus you're getting your own picks back. Now I can listen to arguments on Scoot and Shaden versus Jaime Jaquez and Khalil Ware and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't think the differences there are enough to lean it towards Miami or whatever, even if you think the players going back to them are better. But uh, I think if the Bucks, because this Miami package has basically been on the table for forever now. Like it's the Dame package plus like a couple other players they've gotten or picks that they've gotten since then. So um, it
They're like, hey, you guys, if we ever trade for a superstar, it's gonna be you guys.
yeah.
Like, you're
I
out.
mean, it's like it's Khalil Ware instead of Jovic, which is probably a little better now because Jovic did not have a great year. Um,
Yeah.
but I just I don't see why the Bucks would be like, oh wow, yeah, we're definitely going to take this Miami package over this Portland package if it comes down to that, because um, the only way I think that happens is if the Bucks say, hey, look, Giannis, you've been a good player for us for a long time.
Brought
Uh,
us a championship.
you won us a championship. You've stayed. You haven't requested a trade, and like we're gonna trade you to where you want to go. I think that's the only way it gets
I,
done to Miami.
I, I find it shocking, and I mean, this is where sometimes we view cities as just like the logo on the court and the building, and sometimes you can still, even though we're talking about Miami, you can lose sight a little bit of um, what actually moving to a certain community would be like, good and bad. But when I look at the basketball situation, I'm just like, it's so hard for me to see why Giannis would want to go there.
I mean, they could probably
Uh,
attract a few other people, but it literally would take all their tradable assets
Everything,
pretty much to
yeah.
do it,
I mean, the
and
cupboard would be bare, and
so
Giannis has been there before in
and
that
so,
type of situation.
yeah, so there's really I don't know, and I mean you could argue that Portland's not good enough even with Giannis too. So I'm not saying that it's like a million times better here or anything, but
But they have a shot. I mean,
yeah,
you had Giannis, you are no worse than the 3 seed, I would think.
yeah.
And maybe like with all the craziness coming out of OKC, I mean they are not happy today, which is kind of fun to see. So who knows what kind of changes they're going to make? Now, obviously, they, I mean, everybody's always talked about when are they going to push their chips in and so on and so forth. I had thought, I don't know how you thought, Eric, but I kind of looked at the success of San Antonio and OKC and them going to a seventh game as kind of being a situation that you don't necessarily blow up either team, or drastically alter either team's timeline to say, okay, screw it, let's go get Giannis. I thought both teams making it to the Western Conference Finals, going to 7 games, I thought that kind of took both of them out of the mix for Giannis as well. The kind of like same thing that the Knicks going to the finals did, but I don't know how you feel about that. But that's why I felt like, man, the contenders for Giannis are kind of fallen to the wayside. By the way, there've been 3 or 4 people in chat that have just said, "Hey, Rich, good to see you. It's good to see all you guys. Thank you so much." And I saw somebody ask us, "What about Boston?" So are we to believe or understand as of now that all of this talk of Giannis potentially going to Boston is just kind of fallen to the wayside?
I mean, it could always. I mean, all it takes is Boston to offer Jaylen Brown, and we might be talking about a different situation. So the reports are that Boston isn't looking to trade Jaylen Brown. I I don't know if that's posturing or what. Because I'm sure the Bucks are saying, "Oh, it's going to take more than just Jaylen Brown," and the Celtics are probably saying, "Well, then we'll just keep Jaylen. He's a second team All NBA guy and averaged 29
Yeah.
points this year." So, um, anyways, I don't know. It's like the Boston stuff it's been more like just media speculating that since they flamed out in the first round and all that stuff that they could be
Yeah.
in it, but there hasn't been any like real reports saying that those teams have talked or have been anywhere close to making a deal. So I don't know. I mean, but like I said, those things can change so fast because as we talked about, or I talked about last live stream, Jaylen Brown becomes available if Milwaukee's looking for a third team to just get assets, and I think we're right back to having the conversation again on, well, we're probably giving up a bunch of assets for Jaylen Brown then, and the Giannis package is probably going to him for him instead, and maybe you don't have to get quite as much for Jaylen Brown compared to Giannis, but
Yeah.
they make
Yeah.
almost
You
the
could
exact
probably
same
hang on
money.
to
So
something.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I do see in chat that Giannis said he was not going to sign with anyone
Mm.
other than Miami. He would not sign an extension. So
Oh.
this that's the play. That's the only play he has, right? He has to do that. He had if he
If
wants
that's where
Miami.
he wants to go, yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
Miami's and Dame had several years on his contract, so he couldn't play that card. But Giannis is he can do that, and that does probably eliminate several teams. Now the question becomes: is he saying that just because he's trying to force the Bucks to trade him to Miami, or would he be like if he actually gets traded to another team, whether that's us or Boston or whatever? I believe he would consider signing an extension whatever team he goes to as long as they're a good team. Like obviously if he got traded to the New Orleans Pelicans or something, I don't know if he's staying, but I believe that he would consider signing an extension with any good team he goes to simply because of the difference in contract, and you don't even know if a team would have cap space to go. Like we're talking about, you might have to sign somewhere for a mid-level exception if you really want to
Yeah.
go to Miami or something, and leave hundreds of millions of dollars on the table just to leave that team. And so to me, it is super risky, but it's a calculated risk that he is just saying those things right now because he wants to go to Miami, and he will, if he doesn't get that, I don't think he's going to hold it against the team that traded for him. I think he's going to hold it against the Bucks for not getting him there. But I do believe if he got traded to Portland, he's obviously friendly with Drew Holiday if he's still on the roster.
Yeah.
Dame and him seem to have still a good relationship and all that kind of stuff,
He
despite
was
what
not he
people.
was not happy. He was not happy when Dame got waived and
Yeah, I
stretched.
mean, he took a shot at. He was playing soccer the other day, and someone said like, is it a good idea to um, play soccer when you're potentially getting traded? Because if you get hurt, that could blow up a trade or whatever. Um, and he said something to the effect of he's not going to let that like prevent him from living his life or whatever. Unlike some people, and some people took that as a shot at Damian Lillard. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know, man. I don't think he was thinking about it in that way. But um,
I, I just want to add in here real quick about Giannis. By all accounts, he is someone who is very, very financially responsible in terms of whenever it has been time for Giannis to sign an extension, he has signed an extension.
mhm.
Like there's never been any, he Giannis has always gotten his money. So there haven't been these. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to go into a season with unrestricted free agency waiting at the end of it. Giannis has always signed an extension.
And
So all of this talk of, I'm not going to sign with anybody. I agree with you. I feel like it just feels like posturing to try to get himself to his preferred destination.
yeah, and so it said in chat, you realize how much he saves on taxes by going to Miami, right?
Oh, it's a ton.
Yes,
It's a ton.
but
Yeah.
if the Bucks don't trade him to Miami, then he's not saving the money. Like that's not Portland's fault. Like that's the Bucks didn't trade him to Miami then. So I don't. I mean, I guess the Heat could trade everyone and set themselves up to have a max contract, and we could lose Giannis. Yes, that is the risk. Um, but like, I don't know. I just if you trade him to another team and you give him that contract extension offer, I don't know. To your point, I don't know if he's willing to play out this season. He's had some injury issues. I mean, he's still going to sign a max contract whether he gets hurt this year or not. But
Yeah.
does he skip that in hopes that Miami clears enough cap space and has the opportunity to sign him next year? Or I mean, that's a huge risk that they even have the opportunity to, and you're basically putting your trust in an organization that you have no part of, and of course they could be telling him things, but that's a huge risk for his agents, for him to just basically say, "Oh yeah, we wanted to go to Miami all along. We're just going to put faith in the fact that they'll have the opportunity to sign me next year."
Yeah. Um, Eric, I'm looking at the time, and I'm really worn out
Okay.
head wise. So I think I'm gonna bounce, but real quick because I don't know when we'll be doing this again. Hopefully I can come on, for another stream over the course of the next week or something like that. Just we'll figure it out. But before the NBA Finals get started, can we just do real quick takes on the NBA Finals?
Yeah,
What do
go
you
ahead.
think about the finals? Okay, I'll go ahead. I'm gonna pick the Knicks.
Oh.
I I feel good about the Knicks for a couple of different reasons. They ended series really quickly, so they've had a lot of time to rest. I think San Antonio making the finals is the youngest team since the 76-77 Blazers making the finals, which was kind of an interesting little nugget. Um, so I just feel at some point history of the league has to bore out, Eric, where these young teams like this, like something has to happen along the way to where they have a growing pain or something like that. Now that's to take nothing away from Wemby and all those guards and all of that. San Antonio's played great, but I just feel like around the edges when it comes to getting a significant amount of rest and the veterans that New York has on their squad, when you look at Brunson and Josh Hart and Bridges and Cat, all of those guys going up against the young guys of San Antonio, yes, San Antonio has won the West and Wemby time is here and all that kind of stuff. But you got a lot of really still playing at their peak uh, older guys who have been in the league who I believe the Knicks are going to be more well rested. And I think the Knicks are actually going to be hungrier than the Spurs. And I don't know. I look at it and I'm feeling, I see somebody saying Spurs in 5. You could very well be correct. I just want to be on the record saying something, and I'm more than happy to come on here and take accountability and say I totally got that wrong. But I think I'm going to take the Knicks in 6,
Oh wow.
and that's my pick. But I would love to hear your pick as things stand right now.
So in my opinion, the Knicks had a great season, but was it really that good, Rich? I mean, they're what, the fourth seed? In a down
Were
in
they fourth or third? I think they were third, right? They were the
oh
three
yeah, they were
seed.
three seed, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a down Eastern Conference with Tatum out for the year, they still got beat out by a young Pistons team as the number one seed and
Mhm.
a the Boston team that was missing um, Tatum for most of the year. And then they have the Hawks in the first round, and the Hawks were up 2-1 in that series, and CJ McCollum of all people was giving them trouble a few of those games, but they I don't know, they beat them, and then they get a shell of a Philadelphia team, and then they get the Cavs in the finals, or in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just,
Hmm.
I, I do. I'm not trying to discredit the Knicks. I just think people are a little bit like, wow, they accomplished this huge thing, which it's cool to get to the finals. I mean, I've died to have, to get to watch a finals run for our team, right? But
Sure.
I feel like they haven't really, like, this is one of those years where it's an accomplishment, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, oh, we've arrived and this is it, like we're gonna win a championship. To me, it's like, okay, now you're playing the varsity, and it still feels to me like whoever won that Spurs Thunder series was going to win the championship. And the fact that the Spurs came out of that series relatively healthy, the Thunder were not, obviously, at the end of that with J Dub and AJ Mitchell missing game 7. And we're probably talking about the Thunder in this series if they were more healthy. So to your point earlier in the stream, where the Thunder are probably fine if they run it back or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what they will do, but you know, having your second best player out and then your third best player, or some people might say Chet's their second best player, having him just completely wilt under the pressure of that series, um, that doesn't bode well for them. But going back to the series, I feel like the Spurs, they climbed that mountain of the Thunder, and um, I don't know. It feels like they're, because you could have made that point that they're young and inexperienced and all that
Well,
stuff in
at
any
any
of these
round,
series.
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
to me, they continue to prove people wrong, and I do think um, their guard depth, with both Harper and Fox and Vassell, and obviously Wemby. Um, I don't know. It feels like the Knicks have just been sitting there patting themselves off on their back for a week now, and now it's going to be the they're gonna be in for a rude awakening. I think, and I mean, it could be a good series. I'm not saying
So
that
what's
the
your
Knicks
so
have
what's your
no
call?
chance, but I'm gonna say Spurs in 5.
Spurs in 5.
Yeah,
Wow, look at that. The gentleman's sweep by the Spurs.
yeah,
Well, we'll see what happens, and then we'll talk about it. We'll see who was right. But I'll if you're able to switch yourself over to do a solo stream, I'm going to go ahead and bow out and get some rest. But I just wanted to come on. Rest in peace, Rick Adelman. Very very sad day for some of us old
yeah.
heads like you and me. And I'll continue to watch the rest of the stream because I want to hear what chat has to say about Giannis, and just like I would love to just ask chat, like, are you guys feeling this groundswell? Like, do you think this thing is going to happen? And I guess I should ask you, Eric. That'll be the last thing I ask before I get out of here. How are you feeling? Is this thing going to happen?
I still don't think it happens. I still always lean
Is
towards
that just because
we're
is
a
that
Blazer
just
fan.
because you'll
Yeah,
believe it
cynical.
when you see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's so. I've been very open with my belief that I'll just believe it when it happens, and I just don't think we're going to be the lucky team until it actually happens. But man,
Oh, it'd be so great if it
what
happens.
a
It'd be
crazy
so
moment!
great.
Like regardless of what you feel about Giannis or how he'd be on the team or what our chances are with him, or if he'd
Yeah.
sign an extension, all that just it's just cool. It'd be cool to have the Blazers be the team that makes this move for a
It'd
top
be
five
it'd
player in
be
the
a
NBA. Yeah,
special. It would absolutely be a special moment, no doubt about it.
yeah.
Eric, I'm out.
Thank
So
you,
have a
Rich.
great rest of the show.
It's great talking
Everybody,
to you.
please click like on the video for all of Eric's hard work. And just thank you guys so much for the well wishes. Love to all of you. And I will see you guys soon.
All right, bye, Rich. Have a good night.
See you guys.
All right. Let me just get out of this call with Rich. All right. Landon says I wasn't around for those Adelman teams. Can you explain why or how he left it after '94? Was it him or was it the organization? Uh, we I mean, we did talk. Rich and I talked about that earlier in the stream, but basically, Blazers hired Bob Whitsitt that offseason, and they were coming off after their finals appearance in '92 had first round exits both in '93 and '94, and they just felt like they wanted to make a huge splash with a new GM, and yeah, so they decided to go with PJ Carlissimo and hire the Seton Hall coach, and that was just a really, really bad decision. Okay, so now that it's just us, you can talk bad about Rich. Yeah, screw that guy. No, Rich is like a genuine, super nice guy, so never gonna have anything bad to say from me. Rip City Retro Discord when? Yeah, I will set that up eventually, but it's kind of I don't know. Does anyone else want that? I mean, we can do that, but yeah, I don't know. I would be it would be fun to conversate or be able to talk to you guys, chat with you, not just in live streams as well. Um, Shady says, "What about Dame cheating on his wife and having a kid out of wedlock? Dirtbag move, Dame." Uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, it does happen, but yeah, I mean, we don't know if that's true or not. We also don't know if it was while I don't know. I didn't see how old the kid was. I know his wife filed for a bunch of information from the girl, but yeah, I mean, am I ever on BU Discord anymore? Very rarely. I'll occasionally pop in there. I wanted to not completely leave it so that people could message me and stuff if they wanted to, but yeah, I haven't really read chat too much. Um, yeah. Mute that bozo. What's up, man? He says, I do hope that the Blazer organization puts together something classy to commemorate Rick Adelman. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Landon says the kid's really young, like a year or less. And if that's the case, I mean, Dame's been divorced for 3 years now, so that's not cheating on his wife. And I don't know why she would be privy to any information or stuff about it. So, kid is almost 3. Well, okay. Um, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's no secret that, uh, I mean, it sounded at the time that both of them had extramarital things. Um, but yeah, I mean, it has been long rumored that Dame has cheated in the past. So I mean, it wasn't a surprise or anything. I mean, it's not good to get another girl pregnant and have a kid. But yeah, I mean, none of my business. Jake asks, when do I think Shams drops the Giannis preferred destination news? I mean, hasn't he already done that? I mean, everyone knows his preferred destination is Miami. That's his one and only. I mean, this is the exact same scenario playing out in 2023, just with uh, it's with the Bucks holding the player instead of us. So will the Bucks trade him to, like, man? I've already seen the Miami fans and the Blazer fans going at it on X and or Twitter. Why did I call it X? Screw that. But I've already seen them going at it, and man, part of the reasons, um, part of the reason why it would be hilarious that the Blazers traded for him is just seeing the absolute meltdown from Miami fans if Joe Cronin somehow pulls off another trade to screw over the Heat. Man, that'd be crazy. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, there were some a-hole Heat fans, but I never really had an issue with any of them. Most of the ones that interacted with me were pretty respectful. It's just the ones that like just assume you have talked crap about them or something, and so yeah, um, people make assumptions like, oh, you hate the Dame package or whatever, and I was always one that wasn't that down on if Miami maximized their package. Um, but yeah, that's getting into the past, I guess. Um, yeah. What's up, Tyler? How you doing? Jake says the first NBA trade last summer was Desmond Bain on June 15th. Yeah, I mean trades can happen any time, but so the draft is 3 weeks from tomorrow, and it sounds like from what everyone's reporting that if he's going to get traded, it's going to be in the next 3 weeks. So yeah. Um, do I ever golf at Merriweather? I have golfed a lot at Merriweather in the past. Man, golf is something that I would love to be able to do more often. I just don't have the time for it right now, but I've been thinking about that a lot. I really want to go golfing. Um, been trying to get. I mean, my family likes going to Top Golf and stuff, but been trying to get them, someone in my family, to take up real golf so we can go do that together. But hasn't happened so far. Um, but yeah, between Giannis and Trey Murphy, sounds like there's going to possibly be some wheeling and dealing here before the draft. Um, if I was OKC, would I move Chet for a top four pick? Um, this is gonna sound kind of crazy, and I don't like his contract necessarily, but I do think Chet's gonna bounce back, and this talk is gonna look silly. I mean, we're talking about an All NBA player. What he was? What was he not second in defense of the year, defensive player of the year voting? But man, I just I can't see a scenario where he's not like good moving forward. So it's just, and this isn't even his fault. Wemby's like an impossible matchup for almost everyone, so it's not even him. But I just I feel like Wemby's going to give him problems, and you're just going to have to live with that. Um, but um, but yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do. You just have to hope that you're healthy enough. Because, like I said earlier, if they have J Dub completely healthy, or just any sort of help, I think they're fine in this and win this series. So, uh, yeah. Landon says 50 million for a 17-9 guy is never worth it, especially when he drops in the playoffs. Well, that's true. I mean, he is an elite defensive player. Like I said, he was just outside of Wemby. He's one of the best defensive players in the NBA. So a lot of that is for his defense. Now, the Thunder are in a little bit of a tough situation because they have to. I don't think they're the type of team that's just gonna keep spending and spending and spending, and signing extensions and paying everyone. So players like Lou Dort is gonna be gone. There's talk that Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins are going to be cap casualties. Now, those are the type of players I think the Blazers should take flyers on or try to acquire. Um, so yeah, but yeah, as Jake said, why are people forgetting what Chet did last year? This guy, he earned his contract because they won a freaking championship. So I don't see how. I just don't see how, like, all of a sudden he's just going to be a bum. That's not worth it anymore, man. Yeah, and as Tristan points out, he's doing it on a really good team that's pretty balanced scoring wise, and also has an MVP player averaging 30 points per game. So, I mean, 50 million is a lot, but I mean, let's face it, that's just the contract moving forward. Now, not necessarily a top four pick. If you could get Mobley and other parts, I think Mobley would be a really good fit for the Thunder. But I also see why they want to trade up to get Cam Boozer. But I don't know, man. I feel like you have the players in place right now to win championships. I don't think you should panic based on one series you lost. I mean, I think you should make moves to better your roster, of course, but I don't think you should do something drastic if you're the Thunder like that. I just feel like Mobley would be a little bit better guarding. I mean, he's not a better overall defensive player necessarily. I just feel like he would be better in like a one on one with. But like I said, I don't think they should be reactionary. But if Halliburton doesn't tear his Achilles, maybe they don't even win last year. I mean, that's also true. You never know. But I mean, they did. So, um, if J Dub's hurt this isn't hurt this series, they probably beat the Spurs. And um, yeah, so I don't know, man. I never like to discredit teams just because of injuries necessarily. Um, I know I kind of did that with the Knicks earlier, but I'm just saying in terms of it's not like. I mean, I see all this stuff about Brunson now being greater than all these other players and stuff. But if you put almost any other player in Brunson's situation in their prime, whether that's Dame or any number of players, including Harden, who has choked in the playoffs in his prime, not old ass Harden. Uh, I think um, I think there's a lot of players that could get the Knicks to the finals in the East in this particular season, and that's why I always hate when context isn't brought into the discussions about having to go up against the Warriors or in the 2015 through 2019 runs, um, that kind of stuff. We can discredit the Lakers bubble title though. Nah, I hate that too. I mean, everyone was playing under the same circumstances, so um, Trevin says so. If they don't win Game 7 last year, then that they were good enough to do is get within one game of winning the championship. Yeah, so that's still good enough, I think. Trevor Ariza opted out, so we can discredit them. I mean, we were fighting. We had to have a special rule to have a playing game just to make the 8 seed, and then we go on a big run in the bubble. But we were a Karis LeVert jumper away from not even making the playing game when he was with the Nets. And so, I mean, yeah, maybe Trevor Ariza helps us a little bit in that playoffs, but I mean, we weren't beating the Lakers, even though we won Game 1, and that was one of the best recent moments as a Blazer fan since the 2019 run. But no, we were the ninth seed. Um, yeah, we were the ninth seed, and no, we were eighth, but it was us and two other teams, and we were all tied. We were the eighth. We were eighth because we had the tiebreaker. If we would have lost to the Nets, we would have been the 10th seed and not done it. That's right. So yeah, yeah, it was like a three-way tie or something, or the Suns. I think because we won, the Suns weren't tied with us or something, if I recall. And then they had won. Didn't they win all 8 games in the bubble or something, and then still didn't make it? Which was like, what was the point of being there then? But um, yeah, I know they didn't play in the play-in. I'm saying if we would have lost to the Nets, we would have lost the tiebreaker then to them and would have been out. But Joe Williams says it's strange. It's been a few days and no more head coaching rumors. Yeah, that's the one thing that's been missing lately is the head coaching rumors. Now, once again, I mean, anything could happen. They could sign a coach tomorrow. They could be waiting for a while. It kind of feels, um, it kind of feels to me like the the Blazers are going to base who they hire on whether they can get a big trade done. If they trade for Giannis, I feel like they're going to go with Jeff Van Gundy or an experienced type coach. If they don't, I feel like they're going to go more the assistant route. So to me, it almost feels like they're waiting on a resolution for this Giannis stuff. Because even if he doesn't get traded here, I mean, we still have the picks and stuff. So we still have the Bucks picks, so we could be a facilitator in whatever move that's made. But yeah, it feels like they'd re-sign Tiago or go with Mike Honoria or an assistant coach like that if they don't get Giannis. But if they do, feels like they're probably going to want a coach they know has some pedigree. And so yeah. And it was sad when the Orlando Magic got my guy Sweeney. That was a shame, but as we've talked about, the Blazers have not been rumored to have been in on Sweeney at all, so guess it wasn't meant to be there, but it was disappointing. It was kind of surprising because I've had people in chat who are here right now tell me that he's for sure going to Dallas, and so it was surprising to see him sign with the Magic, who have been rumored to be in on Billy Donovan, and now that didn't happen. So kind of interesting that they're the ones that got Sweeney. I don't know if they offered him a bag or what happened, but I was with you guys that the longer it played out, it seemed like Dallas would be the team once the Spurs were eliminated. But the timing of that signing right before Game 7, that was pretty crazy. Like, that had to have been a huge distraction. And if they would have lost Game 7, man, there would have been a lot of talk about that being a factor. And he might have gotten some of the blame for that, which would have been crazy. But there we go. Landon says apparently he didn't want to be in Dallas because of his relationship with Jason Kidd, similar to the Chauncey and Nate Bjorkgren situation. Okay, yeah, I didn't hear that, but maybe. Mute that bozo says Zach Collins has been healthier in San Antonio than he was in PDX. If we can pick him up cheap, he may or may not be a decent enforcer type to grab. Any thoughts? I mean, I wouldn't hate having Zach on the end of the bench, or as like a third center. Definitely wouldn't be opposed to that. But you never know with the injury history if things will pop back up again, and then we're screwed because if we re-sign Rob Will as well, then got a bunch of injury-prone centers. Rip City asks, what are the odds we make a significant trade, whether it's Giannis or not? I'm never going to put the odds high. As I talked about earlier, I'm always going to lean towards I'll believe it when I see it with the Blazers. So I don't know, man. Yeah. What's up, Beret? How you doing, man? What are your thoughts on Jonathan Isaac getting waived by the Magic? He seemed like a solid option, backup power forward and center. I don't like his locker room fit with any team. So, kind of a guy who alienates himself a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know. Also an injury-prone guy. I would stay away from Isaac, both injury-prone and yeah, he's a different kind of guy. So I don't know if that's the right fit for Portland. Even though if he was healthy, he could definitely help us defensively, but we still need shooting. I feel like our defensive front court is fine. We don't necessarily need him. So yeah. Rideshare Beware asks, "What do you think the Blazers trade package is?" Um, I think it'll be. I mean, obviously Jeremy's going to be in there, and then it's going to be one of Tamani or Sharp. In this case, it probably would be Sharp. I don't think Tamani would make a ton of sense for them. Now, if it's the Celtics getting this package or whatever, I think Tamani makes more sense for them. But I think Sharp and Jeremy for sure. Obviously, the three Bucks picks. Probably the Orlando pick. And then it's just how many more picks? Do you have to give up two of your own, like 2031, 2033? Um, do you um, do you do you have to give up Scoot in that trade as well? That those are all on the table. So it's some combination of Jeremy, Shane, and probably one other player like Scoot. And then you're probably talking about 5 first if you include the two swaps and one pick back to the Bucks. Probably. 5 first gross. I mean, dude, we're talking about Giannis. I mean, Desmond Bain and Rudy Gobert got traded for 5 first. Well, I mean, that's just what you're going to have to give up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sam Vecini said that the Blazers might have to give up more than 1 first to trade Jeremy Grant. I don't think that'll be the case. And to be honest, if it costs that much, the Blazers are just going to keep him, especially if they don't if they're not in on a star and need his contract to match a contract like another salary. The Blazers aren't going to unload him for picks. They'll just keep him and have him come off the bench. That's just how it's going to work out. So Aaron Gordon, Nas Reed asks Isaiah. Well, I mean, with those guys, I think those guys are only getting traded from their respective teams if they're in on a really good player that those are part of them. So then it would only be if the team acquiring, like let's say the Pelicans didn't want Nas Reed in a Trey Murphy trade or something like that. Not that the Timberwolves would trade for Trey Murphy, but so yeah, I think maybe you get involved with one of those guys, but I don't know. But yeah, I think Grant's a Blazer if we don't make a big trade. I just think they're going to keep him. Now, there could be, like, let's just say LeBron moves on from the Lakers. Maybe there's a team that, like, the Lakers might have a lot of cap space. Maybe they strike out on other moves and don't want to pay to acquire like a PJ Washington or something. And are willing to accept Jeremy. Do the Blazers salary dump him for nothing? Maybe, but I still think the Blazers in their current situation, and especially if they want to make a big splash, whether that's this offseason or next offseason or at the trade deadline, I still think they need the contracts to make moves. So I don't see the Blazers just giving up Drew Holiday or Jeremy Grant for assets like draft capital and stuff. It feels like the exact opposite. Like they'd rather just keep those guys than trade them away for nothing or have to give up assets to get rid of them. I agree that I do think as much as I've been saying all stream that I'm cynical about a trade happening, just as a Blazer fan, just got my hopes up too many times. Um, I used to be super optimistic. I would always feel like the Blazers were gonna be really good every season, and oh, this is our year, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I've been doing that for a long time, but um, I do agree that it feels like Joe Cronin has to make a big trade this offseason. So um, if he does that, I mean, Jeremy Grant's almost certainly part of any of that trade. So I don't I don't think we're gonna have to sell him. So I do agree that Cronin has to make a trade. Where the problem is, do we have faith that he can actually pull it off? He's been, I mean, you can say most of the trades where he's tried to get someone versus selling someone um, have been pretty good, like the Denny trade. Um, so yeah, it's, I don't think you can say, I don't think you can say that he, he's necessarily bad at it. It's just far too many times we've heard the got super close thing. So it's just tough, man. If he doesn't make a trade, he won't be here to make the picks anyway. Yeah, well, see, I feel like Dundon is more like Ishbia in the sense, not that he'll just recklessly make moves, but it feels like he wants more proven commodities and doesn't necessarily care about the draft and draft picks as much. And if the draft picks get you the players you need that can help you get there, I feel like he has no problem trading them. So I feel like it's more that than necessarily Cronin. It's more just it's more just that I feel like the Blazers are going to organizationally devalue those picks a little bit and move them. Um, yeah, whether that's the right decision or not, who knows? It's still crazy. I'm usually the kind of guy who doesn't necessarily like giving up a bunch of future draft capital, but I also, it's just weird with OKC and the Spurs being so good, but I also feel like the Blazers have almost painted themselves into a corner with this rebuild to where they almost have to either just go for it and hope that they get a break, or that adding Giannis and a couple other pieces and maybe you get lucky matchup wise like the Knicks did this year, or injury wise or something, and just make a run and possibly compete for a title. Um, I feel like they're almost in a position where they have to do that versus I don't think the rebuild over the last few years went well enough to just completely trust in it working out. So I feel like we're going to have to, um, we're either going to have to go for it now, or we're basically just going to be treading water until we have to rebuild again in a couple of years when 2028 when those picks start hitting hopefully. But so yeah, I would say that the Blazers should just go for it a little bit, like the Rams in the NFL. Yeah, screw the Rams, dude. God, that was so disheartening today. Freaking Seahawks win the Super Bowl. The Rams are trading for Myles Garrett. Like, ugh. At least they gave up Verse in that trade, so maybe it doesn't help them that much. But man, that's, if Aaron Donald freaking comes out of retirement because of this, dang it. Shaggy Squid says, any chance we facilitate Giannis to Miami and we get Wiggins and Ware? Uh I I seriously doubt it. I don't think those players are worth the Bucks picks, and I don't think we facilitate a trade without it being a player worthy of the Bucks picks. I don't think those players are a big enough splash for Dundon. Um, yeah, I mean I know Wiggins made an All Star game, but I mean we got Tamani and Denny at the 3 and the 4. I don't think giving up those picks is I don't think that's a good move. And then Ware is just he's like a backup on our team, and who knows, he's got some potential, but I don't think we're helping facilitate to give 1 or 2 picks back. I think we'd rather just keep the picks, and um, I don't. That's to me, it's like just keep Jeremy in that situation. I don't think so. Yeah. Thousand Eyes says that Portland was on the opposite coast, closer to Greece. Giannis would have been a Blazer right now. Maybe, but um, yeah, I don't know, man. I think he just likes Miami. Ware has potential, but he also has the potential to just be okay, and then you gave up picks for like a mediocre like backup. I mean, he also has effort issues. So, as talented as he is, uh, I mean, I really like him as a player. I don't think those are the type of players the Blazers are looking for, especially if they're going to make a big move with their picks. I think they'd rather keep those picks and save them for a bigger trade or use them on someone else this year. I don't see them doing that. Yeah, I talked about that earlier, Ray. Mustafa says 80 is very realistic in terms of backup. If we're just talking about him as a player, yeah, maybe. But as I've talked about on the show before, his salary is just so much that it's hard. It's hard for the Blazers to match without it being kind of weird. And then if you have to give up assets to get AD, to see that's the type of trade we'd have to include multiple first with Jeremy and another player. You're probably losing Shea or Scoot in that trade as well. I don't know if that's worth it, man. Yeah. And just to be real, like these these types of moves, I completely agree with you guys that in the past or in different situations, trading for a guy like Ware or, finding those diamonds in the rough type players, um, I I do agree with that. I mean, you can even say Denny was one of those guys, um, but I don't think that's the type of move the Blazers should be doing right now. They have a bunch of those kind of players on their roster right now. I don't think the Blazers are going to be doing those kind of moves. So I'm not going to get my hopes up or think that those are possibilities, even if I wanted to do that. I mean, I wouldn't say Ware is really good. I mean, he's okay. He's been all right, but I mean, you either have to believe that everywhere he's gone, the coaches have just had it in for him, or like these coaches know what they're seeing and that there's a reason why he's been somewhat benched or hasn't gotten the opportunity to do what he thinks he's capable of doing. You have to. I mean, there are players who have been suppressed by coaching staffs or whatever. It's just, I mean, there's several there's several examples going back to when he was on the Ducks of him not playing up to what he's capable of playing. And so, I mean, he had a pretty good year in Indiana when he transferred, but um, it's entirely possible Spo just didn't like him and didn't give him playing time. But why does Spo not get the benefit of the doubt with everything he's done as a coach versus, and they have multiple young players on that team contributing and playing. It's not like he won't give any young players a chance. I mean, Jaquez, he started playing right from day one. So, I mean, at some point, you have to put some responsibility and accountability on the actual players. So, I don't know, man. I like I said, I like Ware. I think he'd be a good player to add to any team. I'm just not giving up anything of value to take that chance on a player. I don't think that's necessarily the right move for the Blazers right now. What's up, David? How you doing? Um, what's up, Michael? How you doing? Yeah. Let's see. We're gonna have the Kenyan conversation yet again. I don't want it, man. Let's just hope he gets better. It's one playoff series against the best player in the world right now. I mean, do I go down to summer league? If you're talking to me, I've been to summer league once. It was freaking awesome. Um, highly recommended if you're a basketball fan. One of the greatest experiences. It's changed a little bit over the years. It's not quite as laid back and casual as it used to be. Um, but yeah, I had the opportunity to go to this would have been 2009. It was Steph's rookie year. Uh, was on my a little honeymoon with my wife. We just got married and convinced her to go with me and sit all day in the freaking gym. So shout out to my wife there. But yeah, that's I've told this story many times, but she asked me why they were letting a 12-year-old kid play with the Golden State Warriors summer league team, and she was talking about Steph Curry. She thought he was 12 years old, and it was pretty funny. I was like, "That's Steph Curry. He's really good," uh, and yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, the game. So we went to a Blazer game, obviously. That was like Jared Bayless was in summer league that year. Um, the the game before the Blazer game, I was sitting right behind Mark Cuban and Rick Carlisle, and during the Blazer game, I moved over to the other side, and Marcus Camby. Where's the Marcus Camby guy? Marcus Camby came and sat right next to me and like sat there the whole game. That was really cool. And yeah, just to see all the GMs and former players and current players and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was awesome experience as a basketball fan, just seeing all these people. It used to just be you to like walk into the like lobby area, and there would just be players and coaches all over the place. Like walk in, almost run into Nate McMillan, who was the coach of the Blazers at the time, and yeah, so uh, just incredible experience. I think I think now they have the GMs and all that kind of roped off from the rest of the um, people, but back then, man, it was pretty crazy how you could just go right next to everyone. Anthony Simons on the Emily. Yeah, I mean, as of right now, the Blazers do not need a guard, but if they made a Giannis trade and gave up both Sharp and Scoot, I definitely could see them making a run at a guard on that MLE. I still think um, if they wanted to try and convince Giannis to stay, if they made a move for him, um, signing Chris Middleton would be a good move. Trader Boggs says, how close do you think Sharp is to a ceiling? Um, it's a really tough question because like you can look at it like, oh wow, this guy in his early 20s averaged over 20 points per game. It was pretty effortlessly too, and it wasn't like super efficient or anything, um, but yeah, man, I don't know. I still think if he puts it all together, he could be like a 25 point per game scorer and be like a three level scorer. And he did show some promise on defense. Um, so yeah, yeah. Curry's deal with Li Ning and shoe company, that's insane, man. Um, but yeah, Sharp. I don't know. I think, and I thought this since before the draft. I still think his his like mindset and his thought process and the way he plays is going to limit how good he can eventually be. Like I don't know if he has that. Like I mean, a lot of people are giving Chet this problem right now. Like Chet's a super smart player, but I don't know. I don't know if he's got that it factor other than super cool dunks. And maybe that is, as Kirk says, maybe just needs a better coach. That certainly could be the case. But I've never felt like he's had the basketball awareness to be too much better than he is. Now, is that something you can learn? Maybe, maybe. And could he be utilized better? Absolutely. Um, I definitely think more off-ball plays. I mean, we didn't run any freaking lobs for him this year. Like none. Like I can't remember a single lob for him outside of fast break plays. Right? Like it's just how do you not just to keep the defense honest and thinking about it? How do you not run several back screens for him every game just to get the defense to have to shift and rotate a different way? Like it makes no sense, and that's one of the reasons X and O is why I've never been a fan of both Billups and Splitter now. Yep. And then yeah, I forgot who it was, but someone earlier was talking about Shaden got left off the group of players for Canada's national team. Jamal Murray was also left on that off of that, and I don't remember, was it Aaron Wiggins? There was one other player. I think Edie was left off of it as well, but there was one other player with Sharp that got left off. Forget who that was, but was it Wiggins? Okay, yeah, I was right. Basically, the Canadian program GM was telling all the players that they wanted a 3-year commitment. I said Aaron Wiggins. Oops, Andrew Wiggins. Sorry. Um, my bad. Uh, they wanted a 3-year commitment every summer from anyone who wanted to be considered for the Canadian national team, and Sharp was unwilling to do that. So I don't know. It's disappointing, of course, but yeah. Andrew, it's funny you mentioned Mark Bryant. I was just thinking about him because I met him at that summer league I just talked about. One of the first people I saw when I walked in the door the first time. It was pretty cool. Like, wow, that's Mark Bryant. And I like looked over and like, wow, there's so and so and there's so and so. Like, wow, this is awesome. There's been nothing in terms of coaches, Shaggy. Yeah, there's been absolutely nothing the last few days. Um, so yeah, nothing new there. Like I said earlier, I don't know if that means they're close necessarily. I do think making a trade for Giannis probably leans towards them paying Jeff Van Gundy to be the coach, but that's just speculation. That's not based on anything other than just a educated guess. Do I think Phoenix does anything? I definitely think they're going to make some moves. I don't think they can just stay pat, but I don't know if they'll do anything big though. Um, Tristan says we have a lot of players next season. We don't really know what to expect out of Sharp, Scoot, Dame, Klingon, all kind of X factors on how they look next year. Yeah, and that's why I've always been okay. Like, I don't want to run it back, but if they have 4 guards still with Scoot and Sharp, Dame, and Drew, I think you'll have enough games where players sit out or injuries or just times where you play the hotter hand or the better player at the time. Um, I think there's enough opportunities for all 4 of them to get enough minutes, and then you don't have to tax any one of them. So I still think that's an okay approach, but I do believe, as people are mentioning earlier, that Cronin's kind of feeling the pressure to make a move, and it does feel like one of Scoot or Sharp is the odd man out and is going to get moved this offseason. Um, but yeah, that going back to the Garland trade, it does to me indicate that the Blazers were ready to possibly move on from Scoot at the deadline at least. Let me know what you guys think in chat. If they were willing to make a move for Garland, that almost certainly meant that Scoot would not be here long term. So I don't think there's any way they keep Scoot if they trade for Garland. So, um, like I said earlier, yes, Lane and I did talk about it. We talked about Rick Adelman at the very beginning, and then we talked about the Drew for Garland trade for a minute, and then we went into Giannis. Um, but yeah, I do. Um, I do wonder how much, because like Scoot had, I mean, he had an okay stretch, and then he had that horrendous stretch where he looked really bad, and then he kind of got it together again. And if you kind of balance it all out, he was fine. There's some like really low lows and some really high highs with him. And so you just have to wonder post trade deadline, once he was actually back in the lineup and playing again, um, how much of that was just them giving up on him as year three hadn't played at all, and just gonna move on from him, or how much of that was them not believing in him, and then how much did that change, or did it change at all with how he played the rest of the year, including having 31 in a playoff game? Did that help him, or are they finally going to not be short-sighted and not be influenced by small sample sizes? So yeah, it's tough. What's up, Rahi? Yes, you think we have any interest in Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe? I don't know. I still see those are both guys I think could help us and be really good additions. Um, I just don't. I put both of them in the tier where the Blazers are looking at bigger fish, might have to settle for lower fish like that. And I'm not saying that they couldn't contribute to a winning team, um, but uh, yeah, I I mean I think they should be in on him. I mean, if you can get both those guys, the problem is the only reason why the Thunder are trading those two is they're looking to unload their salaries so they can uh, continue to use draft picks and things like that to try and hit on players that could replace them. Um, if they have too many guys making salaries, or making that kind of salary without having huge roles, um, I think they're going to have to find a way to um, ditch those for nothing, and that's tough with the Blazers situation. I mean, maybe they lose like a Matisse Thybulle in free agency, don't make a big move, and can use the MLE to absorb one of those guys in a trade. Um, I think they both fit under the MLE, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, it would have to be the type of move where, like I said earlier, the Lakers strike out on getting anyone and want Jeremy Grant for nothing. And so we have Jeremy Grant going to a third team, and then we have Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins coming to us, but then having to go assets to the Thunder. I don't know, man. So yeah, Wiggins is 9 million and Joe's 11. So yeah, they both easily fit. Uh, yeah. What's up, Russ? He says, "Are you in favor of trading Scoot and or Sharp for a big fish?" Just got here. I'll go back later if you already answered. I mean, I did kind of talk about that. I am fine with keeping both. I'm also at the point where I'm kind of fine, especially if it's for a star player, trading both. Especially if you wouldn't have to give up as much draft capital if you do. I mean, obviously, I think I'd like to keep one of the two. Um, but I mean, if we're only going to play Sharp 6 minutes in a playoff game, I mean, does it really matter if we keep him or not? As much as I want to still believe in Sharp. Um, so yeah, it's tough. I mean, Mamu would be good. I don't know how we'd get him. Yeah. Tristan says at that point, just get Rui and don't give up any assets. I do think, yeah, if you could get Rui, I mean, he's a proven playoff shooter. Maybe not the best regular season player, but if you have Rui coming off your bench at the backup four or whatever, I think you're fine. So, um, I mean, that's kind of like in the run it back scenario. You try to talk yourself into adding Dame and a quality backup forward and re-sign some guys and maybe a better coach, um, and hope it all works out. But I don't know, man. Yeah, I as hard as I am on Sharp sometimes, I do still think like if he like I think he's fine in whatever role you put him in. So if he's coming off the bench or something and you have like a dominant starting five, um, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Um, but yeah. Shaggy asks, any chance Dame being back in Germany being his guy influence keeping Germany? I don't know if it necessarily influences it, um, because they obviously have to use his salary if they want to acquire a player, and I think Dame is more than on board with them going after a top player. Um, I think Dame's more excited to play with Drew, uh, but yeah, um, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like obviously they have to make some moves, and I mean Dame's seen. I mean, he knows how it went with Jeremy, um, last year. I mean, the year before this one, even though he wasn't on the team, and he also, uh, I mean, I think he still likes Jeremy and stuff. I don't think the relationship is like strained or anything, but I think he would like for Jeremy to stay. But he also knows that they have to give people up to get someone. But what's the reaction if we go into next season having made no moves or marginal moves? The reaction is see ya, Cronin, because I don't believe he can survive that. But I'd be really disappointed. But like I've been saying this whole stream, I've kind of just resigned myself to the fact that that's being a Blazer fan, and it sucks. But uh, I'm hoping that new ownership changes that, and that we can start feeling like we're gonna go for it sometimes again. But it has in the past felt like this organization has been okay with being okay, if that makes sense. And I've never been a fan of that. I understand it from a business perspective, but also winning championship is good for a business as well. So um, I would not be shocked at all, and it would kind of suck considering we're in the mix for all these big players. But yeah, I really, I mean, obviously Giannis would be a good move. I really like Jaylen Brown's fit with this roster. I really like Trey Murphy's fit with this roster. Now it's debatable whether we should give up what those teams want for those players. I completely understand if we're not willing to match those prices. But I do think if we made a move for one of those guys, I do think we'd be sitting here talking about the roster and the team in a much better light. Uh, but um, but I understand not doing it too. So I guess I just be disappointed. And the thing that sucks, combined with not having a draft pick, so you don't even have. And I don't believe the Blazers. I mean, they might trade into the second round or do something really small, but I don't feel like they're going to give up a piece just to get a first round pick or something like that. So I don't know. It just sucks because like normally the last few years, even if they run it back a little bit, um, the you still have the hope that like, oh, Sharp could turn into a star, or they just drafted this guy Klingon, let's see what he can do. And those have been, to varying degrees successful, but um it sucks not having, like, even Young Hansen last year, even though um very early on it was apparent he wasn't going to contribute. You still had like the hope all summer, right? Summer league and all that of, wow, we got this guy who could be something. So running it back and making a couple small moves, along with not having like a first round prospect to like maybe you get lucky and he takes a jump, or he's a Tamani Kamara level player even. Um, that just kind of sucks when you put both of those together. But I think Cronin's gone if that happens. I don't think Dundon. He's already put it out there that he did not like the snail's pace that this team operated with in the past, and that was going to change. And I feel like the excuses aren't going to fly with him. Marv says it sure would be nice to have an all NBA rookie first team guy on this team like Cedric Howard. Yeah, I mean, I just keep imagining how much better throughout the year we might have been, even with the injuries. I know Coward was hurt a little bit, but like if we would have had another wing to count on both ends, instead of playing like City Sissoko and Chris Murray major minutes, if you had a first team all rookie guy that you could throw in there instead, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Tristan says the only way Cronin can stay is if Dame can save him. We make a run somehow. I disagree with that, because I don't think just having Dame back is enough to even get Cronin to see it out. I think he has to make a big move, or some sort of move to where you didn't just sit on your hands all summer with no draft pick, sign a couple of value free agents, and just do nothing. So yeah. So yeah, I don't agree. I don't think Cronin lasts to even see Dame save him. It feels like Cronin's gonna get a little um, itchy to do something, and then that will in turn he'll come down on someone like Cronin if you. How do you envision Dame fitting in with the style they're playing, a wing shooter? No, I don't. I don't necessarily see Dame as a wing shooter. I think, like obviously he can space the floor when Denny's driving, but I do think the Blazers showed you need multiple people that can drive. Just having one in Denny is like it's good enough to win some games. He can get it going and put the team on his back, even if it's a hurt back. But I think you need multiple guys that can attack the defense in the playoffs and get into the paint. So I think just having like multiple people, so both Dame and Denny, to where you can kind of not take turns isn't the right wording, because that makes it sound like they're just not doing anything unless they have the ball. But I do think having multiple guys where the defense has to stop from getting into the paint, if that's our offensive scheme. The problem is we don't know who the coach is right now. So if it's still Splitter, I think, like I was just saying, that's going to be best. But if we have a whole new system with shooters and stuff like that, then I think Dame kicking out to shooters is fine. And I do think, so it's not necessarily having shooting. And Denny's shooting fell off this year, like once he got that back injury. So it's not necessarily fair to him, I don't think, because I think he's fine as a spot up shooter. But this is where having someone like Dame really pays off. The defense has to cave in like they would if Denny's driving, right? So if Dame kicks out to Denny, even if he doesn't shoot a three, Denny is attacking someone running out at him, which is easier to get by, or you're attacking into space and getting downhill before your initial defender gets to you. So I think Denny's a good enough three to keep some defenses honest, but where it's really going to pay off is not necessarily him kicking out to 3-point shooters like Denny. It's kicking out to Denny and then him being like the secondary attacker into the paint. Because once Dame goes into the paint and draws the defender, then they're all out of position, and Denny can go in there and be his little bull in the china shop through the paint. And I feel like he's going to get more. And I don't think with Denny it's foul baiting. I think he's going to look to initiate contact, and he's going to find defenders that are out of position more so than if he's just straight bringing the ball up and trying to go through a pick and roll or into the heart of the defense as the primary ball handler. So I do think there's stuff you can do to be creative on offense to make it really work with having two guys who are so good at attacking the paint like that. And then, of course, when Denny has the ball, if Dame's one of the people spotting up, that's much better than anyone we had here in terms of like just gravity and keeping the defense honest. So, and yeah, I mean, obviously the roster still needs some shooting around that just to help. So yeah, this is going to be always the question with Gregory, but assuming Dame can beat anybody off the dribble post injury, well, Dame, I mean, he is a person who can beat people off the dribble in the past. We'll see if that's still the case in the future, but he's one of the best pick and roll players. So even if it's not off the dribble, he can still draw defense. He's either going to have to get double teamed off the pick and roll, or he's going to get freed from a pick and get into the paint. So I don't think the injury has much to do with whether he'll be able to do that or not, because he's always been more lenient on having a pick to do that. And Klingon's a pretty good screen setter. Rob Will's a decent screen setter. So if those guys are your centers or your bigs moving forward, or if they figure out a way to do that, I feel like they'll find a way to make it work. This year's system wouldn't run pick and rolls. We don't know what the system's going to be next year. Like, we don't know who the coach is, and second of all, it's stupid to. This is exactly what happened in Milwaukee. They didn't. They had their system and they didn't run pick and roll with Giannis and Dame very often, and look how that backfired. And so, yeah, I mean, you can't have. I understand trying to run an offense without pick and roll and trying not to have to depend on pick and roll. Completely on board with that. I like that, but you also have to run pick and roll some with one of the greatest pick and roll players of all time. Like you just have to do it. Like you can't just say, "Oh, that's not our system. We're not going to do that." When you have one of the greatest pick and roll assets of all time, like that'd be stupid. Yeah, we'll see what kind of shooters they add. Um, yeah. And also, if we get if Splitter's back, for example, and we run the push the tempo a little bit, try to get threes up in transition, Dame's going to get a lot of uh, kickback threes where, like, Denny pushes the ball up the court and kicks it back out to him where the defense isn't set. And I think Dame will be fine in that system too. Shady says true, but you can't design a system based upon a 36-year-old off the injury. Absolutely, but pick and roll isn't a system. It's a basic play that every team runs. Like I agree, you need to have sets and systems other than pick and roll, but every team should have the ability to run pick and roll, and every team pretty much does that. But yeah, that would be good. Like Trey Murphy and players like that, I think would also be really good in that, and that's why I wouldn't have a problem if the Blazers gave up some of their assets or some of their young players to get a Trey Murphy, because I do think his shooting and just the way he plays would really help Dame and Denny and some of the other guys space the floor a little bit. What's up, Damani? He says, yeah, pick and roll is just a regular basketball motion. They do the same thing off dribble handoffs. Yep. And the Blazers still did a decent amount of that last year. It's not like they didn't do any pick and roll. They still did quite a bit of pick and roll. Maybe not as much as some teams, but there's nothing wrong with Dame shooting. It's his legs. Well, we don't know that yet. I mean, obviously, he's not going to be the same player he was before with Portland, where he's averaging 32 points per game or whatever it was. So yeah, we don't. He'll obviously be a step slower in that regard. But I don't think it's a case where it's either he can do nothing or can be the old Dame and there's nothing in between. I think he'd still be fine. I mean, he wasn't moving particularly well some of his years in Milwaukee. Still averaged 25. Could still get into the paint some. I think he'll be fine. Um, you don't want him to do any hard driving in the paint. I mean, that's another thing. That's why also when I mentioned keeping the four guards, you could play Dame, 25 minutes a game. Same with Drew. Like just don't tax them or waste a lot of energy. Try to conserve their their energy for later in the season and for a playoff run if you make it. But that's also why trading for another star player that could take the pressure off of Dame and Drew to have to carry a lot of the offense would be nice, I think. Demonte's saying Lillard's going to dunk next year. Yeah, it'd be cool to see him dunk again. Gray asked, do you think Dame will start? 1,000% yes. There's no chance he comes off the bench. Despite what someone's about to say in chat, that someone else is going to start, there is 0% chance that Dame is not the starter if healthy next year. Like, maybe if not healthy. Good night, JP. Maybe if not, if he's not 100%, or not if he's not 100%, but like if he's obviously hobbled or whatever. But he sat out the year. He did the right thing. He didn't push himself or try to come back early. He's gonna have a full year plus of rehab and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's no chance. And quite frankly, it's downright ignorant and dumb if you think anyone is going to start over him, especially Scoot Henderson next year. It's just not going to happen. The only chance Scoot has to start is if he beats out someone and they play both of them. But I still feel like if Drew is on this roster, he's going to start next to Dame with the two. And I feel like it's going to be Drew and Dame as your starting backcourt if they're both on the roster. Yeah. Any chance Dame is a no back-to-backs guy? I think there's a very strong possibility of that, Marv. Yeah. So another wasted year for Scoot, I guess, hardly any minutes. I mean, there's going to be plenty of minutes for him to play. I'm not saying... I mean, Scoot might actually average more minutes than Dame or Drew. I'd actually like to see that. But once again, we don't even know if Scoot's going to be on the roster. We don't even know that. So, I mean, let's wait and see what happens first. Yeah. But, I mean, to be fair, and this is what sucked about Scoot getting that injury and being out so long, missing most of the season, was it just... This was the year. There was no Dame all year. Drew gets hurt for part of the year. We're desperate for someone who can handle the ball a lot of the season. And this was the year to show what he can do. So that's not necessarily Dame's fault. They're not going to penalize the team just because Scoot needs to show what he can do. They tried to give him that opportunity this year, and it didn't. That was no one's fault that he got hurt. It's just sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's what happened here. And hopefully he can still overcome it. And like I said, he can still average more minutes and play a huge role on the team. He can still show what he can do. It might even be better for him not being in the starting lineup to show that. But I don't think we should just play Scoot just to give him an opportunity. I don't think that's how it works. Yeah, I completely agree, Shaggy. I don't understand why people can only think Scoot can do it if he comes off or if he starts. Like, I think he's fine off the bench. He can be fine. Doesn't matter what the best role for the team is. Dame's not coming off the bench, dude. I don't know why you keep saying that. It's quite frankly, it's annoying how every freaking stream you have to say that. Like, it's just like, have your opinion. It's fine. We get it. You don't think Dame's going to start, but he's going to. Like, it's just, it's like a fact. Like, I don't get it why you have to do this every freaking stream. What's up, Alex? He says, any word on Scoot's contract situation? Um, I still think the Blazers will probably. I mean, once again, I think we need to wait to see who's involved in a trade if we make a trade first. I mean, the Blazers might be looking to move him just so they don't even have to worry about this. So he might not even be on the team. So it's tough. And then, but if he's still on the roster, let's just say they traded Sharp and Jeremy or something, and Scoot's still on the roster. I think they offer him up to like 15 to 17 million a year, and then if he doesn't accept that, I think they just are comfortable. They're comfortable letting it play out the year. I don't think they offer him more than that. I mean, I could be surprised, but if he gets anywhere near where Shea or Tamani got, like in the 20 million range, I don't think they're comfortable doing that yet. I think it makes way more sense to, because I mean, if he dominates this year and earns more, then you're happy because you have a really good player. If he doesn't play well this year or just is okay this year, then you're stuck with paying him kind of like what we might be with Sharp right now. So I don't think they're going to offer him much more than that. What this isn't something that I've like heard or anything. It's not based on anything. I feel like Scoot's in a different situation than the guys last year where and in fact Sharp, I still believe Sharp was only signed to an extension because he wasn't willing to bet on himself. And looking back, that might not have been a good sign. But yeah, I don't see a situation where the Blazers offer him like a huge contract. I just don't see the point when you're trying to manage a salary cap, especially with aprons and stuff. If you're trying to make a big splash, why you would do that? You're also, if you sign him to a very big extension, like let's just say we signed him to one like Sharp did last year, you're also limiting how good of a trade um, or how easy it would be to trade him during the season because um, if you make a move, he becomes a poison pill contract, so it's a lot harder to trade. So yeah, we'll see. Ziano says, you might have covered this earlier, but what worries me about Giannis thing is I'm not sure how you have Denny and Giannis play at the same time as their play style is similar. Yeah, it is. It is similar. I mean, Giannis is awesome though, and think of it. Well, I just talked about it like in terms of Dame driving and kicking out to Giannis, or kicking out to Denny. Um, think about that in terms of then Giannis and Denny doing that, but then also Denny. So Denny has the ability to um, kick out to Dame, then who is spotting up while Giannis drives and kicks out to Denny, and then Denny attacks the defense in a secondary way. I do think it can work, but also think about Denny Denny's progression this season as a lob thrower. He got really good at it, and uh, just think of Giannis in the dunker spot instead of. I mean, Rob Will did a pretty good job of that, and Klingon was okay at it. But think about Giannis in that position. It is like a small ball center, or you have Klingon or Rob Will clearing out the lane, and you have the Dame or the Denny to Giannis lobs. That's a whole nother level of action they can do, and that would just be awesome with Denny's passing prowess. You can throw even bad lobs to Giannis. I think they'd be okay and pretty good together, and I think if you can get a player of Giannis's caliber, and you're a small market team like the Blazers, I think you just go for it, and you worry about that stuff later. And I think they'd be fine though, man. Giannis's ego won't let the ball be in Denny's hands. If Denny's getting him easy buckets at the rim every time, I don't see why he would have a problem with that. I don't. I mean, but I mean, you have Giannis with the ball in his hands more often than not. I mean, he's awesome, and he's really good at it. Like, it's not like you're less of a team if you have Giannis with the ball in his hands. He's really freaking good with the ball in his hands. I don't understand. Yeah, that's a good point from Marv. Obviously, the playmaking would be better. The better, I think Denny has a whole other level he can get to with playmaking if he's got one shooters or a team built around him. But if he has, one of the best lob threats of all time down there, that'd be insane too. But just not having to expend as much energy driving every time on offense to save that energy for defense. Denny in the past has been one of the better defenders in the league, and a really underrated defender. Now that kind of fell off this year, but I think a lot of that was because uh, of his offensive workload, and that's the same thing we've talked about with Dame for years. It's hard to be 100% lockdown defender, or even like an average defender, if you're expending that much energy to score every time. Do I think there's any chance Young contributes next season? No, not next season. I mean, I'm hopeful still a couple years from now that maybe he can be like the backup center or something, but I don't have any faith that it'll it'll be this year. Um, yeah. All right. Well, I've been streaming a long time. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been really fun talking about this Giannis stuff. Um, good or bad. Hopefully, there's a resolution soon. Everyone's saying it's going to be before the draft, which is 3 weeks from tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see if something happens. It's going to be an insane summer if we make a move, a big trade. Um, all the trades that have happened. I mean, obviously, the Dame 2023 summer was, um, we had to wait pretty much the whole off season to get a trade, um, and we finally got one towards the end of that off season, but that was almost more of a downer than anything. Well, for me at least. You're welcome to feel however you want. But uh, it just it's really fun to think about the Blazers potentially making a big move, and just being. I mean, even if it doesn't happen, just seeing the tweet this morning that the Heat and the Blazers were the two teams that were the front runners for Giannis right now. And even if it got crapped on all day with the nope, he's going to Miami, he'll only go to Miami, whatever. It's still fun that the Blazers are part of it, and it seems like they're interested in making a big splash. So maybe we can get that excitement back as a Blazer fan. That's been, at least for me, um, I wouldn't say missing. It's just been kind of beaten down a little bit in recent years, and hopefully they can get that back. Because, man, whether it'll work or not, or whether it's a disaster, it certainly makes the Blazers interesting if they get Giannis or make a big trade. So definitely more fun to talk about, and definitely makes this offseason, in terms of discussing what moves we can make around it, a lot more fun than just being like, oh, okay, we signed Rui Hachimura and did nothing, had no draft picks. So uh, yeah, let's hope for a big move. And RIP to Rick Adelman, one of the truly great franchise legends. It's tough loss. Unfortunately, so many players from that era and now coaches have passed away. Part of life, but never easy. So yeah, unfortunately, lost another good one today. And yeah, in the future, hope to talk about more big trades, and hopefully we get a bunch more Blazer rumors. They have not disappointed us so far, and just in terms of stuff to talk about this offseason. So probably have a stream later in the week. Hopefully Rich, I know starting in a few weeks, maybe he might be able to. Well, I don't want to put that on him, but hoping in the future he can stream a little bit more. And yeah, it's been fun. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Blazers fist bump on the way out. And we'll catch you next time on Rip City Retro. Thank you everyone. Have a good night.